Good morning. Whenever you happen to see this video, I'm going to check to see if it is recording because, um, let's see. Hello, hello. Hello. Let's see. I am recording, I think. It's June. Oh, I can't hear myself. Let's see. Let's start again. Oh, there we go. Oh, the echoes of life. Forgiveness. I recorded 2 days ago and there was no sound. I wonder how many times we talk and we're not aware that there's no sound. And so therefore others can't listen to us. Anyway, Rising in Love, a philosophy of being by Mr. Bert Hellinger. Bert Hellinger. Forgiveness. Instead of facing a confrontation, forgiveness can be an attempt to cover up and to postpone a conflict instead of finding a resolution. Forgiveness carries particularly bad consequences if the victim releases the guilt party of their guilt, as if this were the victim's right. If there is to be a true reconciliation, the innocent party has not only the right to reparation, but also the duty to demand it. Seen from the other side, the guilty party not only has an obligation to bear the consequences of the act, but also the right to it. An illustration of this, the second round. A man and a woman fell in love, although both were already married. When the woman became pregnant, they both divorced their partners and entered a new marriage together. The, vic- the woman was childless before, but the man had a little daughter whom he left with her mother. Both felt guilty toward his first wife and his daughter, and their deep desire was that his first wife would forgive them. However, she continued to be angry with them as she and the child had paid a heavy price for their gain. They sought counsel with a friend, and he suggested that they imagine how it would feel if the first wife forgave them both. Then they began to realize that until that point they had both avoided confronting the consequences of their guilt. Their hope and wish for forgiveness was a denial of the dignity and needs of everyone concerned, including themselves. They acknowledged that their new happiness was based on the unhappiness of the first wife and child, and they decided to fulfill any appropriate demands she might make. However, they also stayed together. Reconciliation. There is also a forgiveness that is positive. It preserves the dignity of the guilty person and also of the victim. This kind of forgiveness requires that the injured party does not make inappropriate demands and that she accepts the reasonable compensation. No reconciliation is possible without such forgiveness. An example follows. I'll read that short paragraph again. There is also a forgiveness that is positive. It serves the dignity of the guilty person and also of the victim. This kind of forgiveness requires that the injured party does not make inappropriate demands and that she accepts a reasonable compensation. No reconciliation is possible without such forgiveness. An example follows: the aha experience. A woman left and divorced her husband for another man. After many years, she realized how much she still loved her ex husband and asked him if she could become his wife again. He didn't want to commit himself, but they nevertheless agreed to consult a psychotherapist. The therapist asked the man at the beginning of the session what he wanted from it. He replied, "I only want to have an aha experience." The therapist told him that this would be difficult, but that he would try. Then he asked the woman what she felt she should offer to the man so that he might accept her again as his wife. Because she imagined this would be easily accomplished, her answer was non-committal. Committal, yes. No wonder the man was not impressed. The therapist showed her that first and foremost, she had to acknowledge how much she had hurt her husband, and that he needed to see her desire to make up for the hurt she had caused him. The woman thought for a while, then looked her ex husband in the eye and said, "I am very sorry for what I have done to you. I beg you to let me be your wife again. I will love you and look after you and assure you that in the future you can trust me and rely on me." Still, the man did not budge. The therapist looked at him and said, "What your wife has done to you must have been very painful, and clearly you do not wish to experience this a second time." The man suddenly had tears in his eyes, and the therapist continued, "A person who suffers at the hands of another feels superior to the guilty one. He is therefore entitled to reject the other, as if he did not need the other. Against such innocence, the guilty person has no redress." The man smiled. He knew he had been found out. Then he turned to his wife and looked at her lovingly. "The therapist with you, and I don't want to know how you are doing." Suffering. When the hurtful action of one partner in a relationship leads to separation, we often see the guilty person as being free and independent. But what if that person had not committed the hurtful action, and he or she wasted away or became ill as a result? When this individual would have the right to feel resentful toward the partner. Let's read it again. Suffering. When the hurtful action of one partner in a relationship leads to separation, we often see the guilty person as being free and independent. But what if that person had not committed the hurtful action, and he or she wasted away or became ill as a result? Then this individual would have the right to feel resentful toward the partner. Often the guilty person seeks to pay for the separation by suffering greatly before the separation in an attempt to nullify the pain of the victim. Perhaps this person only desires to expand life beyond the boundaries of the present situation and suffers because this can only be achieved by hurting or harming the other. But a separation can offer a chance of a new beginning to the person who is hurt as well as to the person who has caused the hurt. Even the victim has new possibilities all of a sudden. However, if the victim remains in suffering and refuses to move on, then it is difficult for the offender to start a new life. Thus, both remain entangled despite their separation. But when the victim makes a new beginning, this is the gift of freedom and relief to the other. Of all the different kinds of forgiveness, this may be the most beautiful one, for it reconciles even where there is separation. However, when guilt and hurt have taken on fateful dimensions, reconciliation is only possible if there is no insistence on atonement. This is a humble way to forgive, to surrender to powerlessness. Both parties submit themselves to an unpredictable fate, and in so doing, the need for guilt and atonement ceases to exist. Thank you. I'm going to check if I'm doing it right before I go on. See you in the next video. Thank you very much.